It's a Tuesday night. You're lying in bed, scrolling, and there it is again. Someone you sat beside in the 11th grade, the one who works some vague job in marketing, is standing on the deck of an overwater bungalow in the Maldives. Turquoise water. A private plunge pool. The caption says, "Living my best life." You swipe. The next photo is a yacht off the coast of Amalfi. And you do the math in your head. You know roughly what that person earns. Maybe $70,000 a year. The same as you. And you ask the only sane question there is to ask: how on earth are they affording this? Here's the uncomfortable answer. Most of them aren't. They didn't save for that bungalow. They financed it. That sunset photo is sitting on a credit card charging 22% interest, or a book now, pay later plan that will follow them home long after the tan has faded. They are not buying a vacation. They are renting a memory, at interest. And they will still be paying for it when the photo is buried 3 years deep in their camera roll. So let's do something those travel influencers never will. Let's do the honest Canadian math on what you can actually afford in 2026. Start with the currency in your wallet, because that's where the pain begins. Right now, one Canadian dollar buys you about 71 cents in the United States. Think about what that means the second you cross the border. Every hotel, every meal, every theme park ticket priced in American dollars costs you nearly a third more before you've done a single thing. This is why a family trip to Disney World, or a long weekend in New York City, now costs what an entire month in Europe used to cost a decade ago. A mid-range Manhattan hotel room at 400 American dollars a night is really costing you closer to 560 Canadian dollars a night, and the euro is no kinder to you. Between a strong American dollar and a soft loonie, every cheap getaway to the south has quietly turned into a premium purchase. The dollar in your pocket didn't just lose value at Loblaws, it lost value at the airport too. Which brings us to the trap almost nobody talks about: the financed flight. Look at any Canadian booking site today, Sunwing, Air Canada Vacations, the big agencies, and you'll see the same little button sitting right next to the price. Pay monthly. $50 down. Travel now. Pay later. It sounds like a gift. It is a loan. Some of those plans run at interest rates between 15 and almost 35%. Here's the psychology they are counting on. It's called the post-vacation hangover. You spend 4 days in Las Vegas. You come home. The glow lasts about a week. But the payments? The payments last 18 months. You are sitting at your desk in the middle of November, staring out at a rainy parking lot, making a $200 payment on a trip you can barely remember taking. You are still paying for a 3-day weekend, 2 full years after you unpacked your bag. A vacation is supposed to be a reward for work you already did. Financing quietly flips that around. It turns your vacation into work you now have to do to pay off the fun you already had. So where does that leave a normal Canadian earner? Let's build the real map. 3 tiers. Tier 1. Call it the Mirage. This is the Maldives. This is Bora Bora. This is a proper 2-week trip to Tokyo. These are the places flooding your feed. And here is the truth the influencers hide from you. For a median Canadian household, these are not annual trips. They are once-in-a-decade trips. A single overwater bungalow can run you 1,500 Canadian dollars a night before you have eaten one meal. If you earn the national median, a trip like this isn't a summer plan. It's a milestone, an anniversary you save 2 or 3 years to reach, and that is completely fine. The lie was never the destination. The lie is the frequency. Tier 2. The squeeze. This is the traditional Canadian escape. A week at an all-inclusive in Mexico, in Punta Cana, in the Dominican. For decades, this was the budget option, the affordable sun. Book it in January, survive the winter, come home in one piece. Not anymore. A family of 4 flying out of Toronto to a decent Caribbean resort for 1 week now runs around 7,000 Canadian dollars. Once you count the flights, the gratuities, the excursions, and the airport parking that nobody ever budgets for. What used to be the working class reward has quietly become a middle class stressor. The brochure still says budget getaway. Your bank statement says something very different. Tier 3. The smart move. And this is where the genuinely wealthy, the actually wealthy, not the financed wealthy, are quietly going. These are the value destinations. Portugal, where a beautiful European city breaks your budget, far less than Paris or London ever would. Vietnam, where the loonie suddenly feels strong and stretches into weeks instead of days. Parts of Central America, Costa Rica, Panama, Guatemala, where your money buys you time instead of just photos. The trick the smart traveler understands is simple. Don't chase the destination with the highest status. Chase the destination with the best exchange rate. In 2026, geography itself is a discount. Now, here's the part that should make every Canadian genuinely angry: the domestic paradox. You would think the cheapest flight leaving Toronto would be a flight that stays inside Canada. It often isn't. Flying from the GTA out to Kelowna or from Toronto over to Halifax can cost you more than flying all the way to London or Paris. Read that one more time. It can be cheaper to leave the entire country than to go visit your own. Why? Competition, or rather the lack of it. Canadian skies are dominated by a tiny handful of carriers, spread thin over an enormous, thinly populated country. Fewer airlines fighting for your seat means higher prices. And you, flying out of the GTA or the Lower Mainland, are the one who pays that bill. Even your Aeroplan points don't fully rescue you when the base fare was inflated to begin with. It is one of the quiet taxes of simply living in the second largest country on Earth. So let's pivot to the thing that actually matters, because real wealth was never about the destination. It's about the return on enjoyment. Here's the only question that truly counts. When your plane touches down back at Pearson, or back at YVR, and you walk back into your real life, how much of that trip do you actually own? If you paid cash, you own all of it. The memory is yours, free and clear, forever. If you financed it, the resort owns a piece of it, the lender owns a piece of it, and the CRA still wants its cut of the income you'll have to earn just to pay it all back. You brought home the photos, somebody else kept the equity. A rich person and a broke person can stand on the exact same beach, watching the exact same sunset. The difference isn't the sand under their feet. The difference is which one of them is quietly dreading the statement that lands next month. And before we finish, one piece of perspective, because it reframes the entire thing. If you can afford any vacation at all, even a modest one, even a road trip within your own province, you are already sitting in the top tier of human beings who have ever lived. Most people on this planet will never once board an airplane. A great many of them will never leave the province, the state, or the small region they were born into. That week in the Dominican you are stressing over the price of, it is a level of freedom the overwhelming majority of the world will simply never touch. The goal here isn't to make you feel guilty. The goal is to get you to stop measuring your one life against a stranger's financed highlight reel and to start actually seeing what you already have. So here is the real answer to where you can afford to go in 2026. You can afford to go anywhere you can pay for in full. That might be Portugal. It might be one honest week in Mexico that you saved for all year long. Or it might be a tent, a cooler, and 4 nights in the Rockies, with the people you love the most, paid for in cash, owing nothing to anyone. Here's the truth. The algorithm will never once show you. The person with the financed infinity pool and the person with the paid-off campsite are looking at the very same sunset, but only one of them is actually free. One of them is on vacation. The other one is on a payment plan. Choose freedom over photos. That's the whole game. If you learned something from this video, make sure to like and hit subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.